societies that participated. European Respiratory Society was led the initiative, and then we contacted the ESMIT, the Intensive Care Medicine European Society, and the Latin American Society of Respiratory Diseases of Thorax. And each society, each scientific committee of each society appointed members. I think 3 members of each society except the URS, because the URS included methodologies, and they pay for that. URS Santiago Ibi, Tobias Delte, Tommy Tonya, David Rigau, and myself, Esmith Jean Shastre, Hakan Hamburger, Robert Red, the Intensive Care Society, Jean Shastre as well, Arthur Paiva, Jean-François Timsit, Carlos Luna for the ALAT, and we invited, because we thought that we needed the American view as well, Michael Niederman, Mary Collett, and Richard Wundering, 3 important experts in guidelines and in the field. We also invited Ignacio Martin Loechet and Jean-Louis Gelibase as a junior members, and the methodologies were Patricia Fernandez and David Rigau that did, especially David Rigau, most of the work about the search, the recommendation tables, the evidence, and all these things that now are very difficult, very difficult to go ahead. So I want to thank all these participants, because we started this almost 3 years ago or more. I don't remember very well now, but it has been a lot of work. But I want to thank very especially Mike Needham, who is here in the audience, because he helped me a lot in in writing the manuscript, in advising me. He has a lot of experience, and I really feel that that help was unbelievable. So thanks, Mike. So we used the great approach. Now all the societies require this. We cannot do guidelines without the great approach. And the great approach starts with the quality of the studies. RCTs have a high quality, observational low, but then you can downgrade the quality if you look at the study specifically and you look at this risk of bias, inconsistency, undirectness, unprecision, and publication bias. So you have to look at this for each meta-analysis and for each paper. So it's a lot of work as well. And finally, the grading can be upgraded if the paper of the study has a large effect or response on antagonistic bias. But this is not frequent. This is very frequent to find this, so we ended and we have tables for each one of the papers. And for outcomes, we had to rate the outcome, the importance of the outcomes, for each one of the PICO questions I am going to show to you. This is an example. This is oral corticosteroids versus placebo for any disease or any acute disease. And these are the panel members, and they have to vote for the most important outcomes that they think that are related with the question. In this case, treatment failure, hospital admissions, mortality, quality of life, adverse effects. And this is an example that we did. And this is the grading of this. 1 to 3 not important, 4 to 6 important, and 7 to 9 critical. And then we constructed these tables. These tables will be in the supplement. These tables include all the outcomes for all the PICO questions and all the details that the literature that we reveal. You can see the quality and all the questions that I mentioned to you before in the first slide about grade, about inconsistent, undiagnosed imprecision, other considerations. So all the information will be in the supplement. There is a lot of work doing that, and David Rigau, the methodologies of ERS help us a lot in this. What is a PICO question? A PICO question is a question that includes population, this is the PICO format, intervention, comparison, and outcome. And then the panel decides about the PICO questions we are going to use, because the PICO questions, each PICO question costs a lot of hours and a lot of money, because the methodology is doing that. So it's money to the society that is paying for that. So we cannot do 25 PICO questions. This is impossible. You will see which PICO questions we decided to go for. This is an example of the PICO questions. Are antibiotics effective in patients with COPD? And then the population is a stable COPD, the intervention antibiotics, the comparison compared to the usual care, and then the outcome to prevent exacerbations. And we constructed and formulated the PICO questions according to this format. So the PICO questions are decided and voted for the panel, by the panel. And let's start with the specific information of the HABAP guidelines. This is the figure 1 of the manuscript that includes the search that we did, the extensive search. And look at here, all the papers that we searched for. And we ended at the end with 100